Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a detachment that is better than I thought it was. Mainly because we've seen the same list over and over again out of it. But that's not anybody's fault. That's just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I tend to like to break things. So what am I looking at in Mont'ka that has now piqued my interest? As a non-Tau player, I'll say that here. I'm looking at it and found out that there's more things that are closer to the things that I already do in some of my armies. So I think I like Mont'ka more than I thought I would. Also, if I'm being honest, this was going to be an auxiliary cadre video because of, well, we'll get to that in a second. But this was going to be an auxiliary cadre video, and then the more I looked, the more signs point to Mont'ka, especially now. Getting assault on the first, second, and third battle rounds for everybody, and then lethals for guided units, pretty good. But the real stratagem that I really enjoy, pinpoint counteroffensive, is just like one of my favorite stratagems in Assimilation Swarm. Well, actually, my favorite in Assimilation Swarm Tyranids, Broodgar Impulse, and it is like Curse of the Cryptek, which is my favorite in Canoptic Court. Into which, if something dies, you get to pop a command point, and now your opponent is upset that they killed it. Final Day GSC also has one, but for pinpoint counteroffensive, one Tau Empire unit that isn't Kroot, until the end of the battle, each time a non-Kroot unit makes an attack versus that enemy unit that just destroyed your unit, you can reroll the hit roll. One command point, pretty nice. Now, these next two tabs are interesting because I like to look for units into which you can capitalize on that, right? Where if they stay, it's upsetty spaghetti for your opponent. If they leave, it's upsetty spaghetti for your opponent. So, Piranhas reminded me of the Psychomancer that I talked about for Canoptic Court, in which, at the end of your movement phase, select one enemy unit within a foot of this unit. That enemy unit must take a Battle Shock test. And if you get rid of the Piranha, full rerolls to hit. Right? Right. And then Stealth Battle Suits reminded me of Rippers. Ripper Swarm, that is, for the non-Tyranid players. Where with forward observers, each time this unit is an observer unit until the end of the phase, each time a ranged attack is made by a model in their guided unit that targets their spotted unit, reroll a hit roll of 1 and reroll a wound roll of 1. And if you get rid of the battle suits, full rerolls to hit. Right? Why does that remind me of Rippers? Because it is damned if you do, damned if you don't, and with homing beacon, that's close enough to a deep strike, right? So it's very, hey, I'm going to get the rerolls one way or another, and I'm going to either wound you or I'm going to heal my people with uh, a Ripper Swarm and Assimilation Swarm. So that's where that is. And then coming up, we have a entrant that I'm surprised hasn't been seen in these lists, or at least not the ones that I was looking at. Vespit's Thingwings. They are Tau infantry that aren't Kroot. And with airborne agility, at the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. Once per battle, ignore cover. Okay? Okay. If you have an oversight drone for having 10 models in the unit, and then you get access to the other special weapons. Now, for 65 points, for 5 models, and Deep Strike, this unlocks a lot more of Mont'ka than I figured. Not only do we have the stratagem that I was just talking about, into which, you know, if you kill them, full rerolls to hit, and if you don't, I probably scored some points, and then they'll pop up somewhere else. And if they keep popping up and down into interesting spots, once again being Tau Empire infantry that isn't Kroot, they have access to Pulse Onslaught. Now, this is 2 command points, but that's why I'm talking about Tau today anyway. We'll get to that in a bit. But same thing. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, if you shoot somebody with Tau infantry that isn't Kroot and isn't a monster or vehicle, until the end of your opponent's next turn, that enemy unit is shaken. While a unit is shaken, subtract 2 from its move, advance, and charge rolls made for it. That's pretty hefty. And thinking about if you combine that with a strike team, yeah, your opponent will have a bad time because the strike team has suppress and volley. In your shooting phase after this unit has shot, select one enemy infantry unit hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the start of your next turn, while this unit is on the battlefield, that enemy unit is suppressed. While a unit is suppressed, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So, you could be kind of an ass and make it so that for fairly cheap points, a 75 point unit attached to maybe one of these, doesn't have to, um, or 65-point Vespids, your opponent is finding themselves at -1 to hit and -2 to move, advance, and charge, right? Right. Going on from that, the other end of damned if you do, damned if you don't, I looked at the ghost kill. And while I'm again revealing secrets of what the video was going to be, this was going to be the Storm Surge, and I'm so sorry, Tau players, that your Titanic vehicle is 400 points, and I don't think that's worth it yet, but I am willing to be proven wrong. However, the Ghost Kill has the same thing that applies to the little shits too, where if you finally get rid of it, pinpoint counteroffensive. And to that point, finally getting rid of it. With the Ghost Kill, we're talking about an infiltrating lone op with stealth, a 2-up save, stealth drones that twice per battle after an attack has been allocated to this model, you can change the damage characteristic of that attack to 0, right? Could do that twice. And then over here for 2 command points, you can subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack with counter fire defense systems. Don't think you'd probably do this, but I'm saying you can. Not that you should. Um, and this is during your opponent's shooting phase, by the way. And they, choose an attack target, yada, yada, yada. But if they do finally get rid of your ghost kill after all of that shit, maybe not this one, again, just saying you can, pinpoint counteroffensive. Now, I was looking through, like, tournament lists and whatnot for Mont'ka, and I would like to preface, not all of this is new. Like, I think I made that clear with Piranhas and Stealth Battle Shoes. That's not a particularly new thing. I saw like one strike team maybe, but not too many people heavy on the ghost kill. And to that point, I do want to say ghost kills can still score points. One of my things that I try to talk about for the level of game that I play, right? This is for your friends, maybe local game store, maybe RTT, but like don't take the things I say and expect to knock down GTs left and right, okay? Um, Big models can still score points into ways some people don't expect, especially. I like Crusher Stampede and Vanguard Onslaught Tyranids for the most part, and that means I'm putting, yeah, a Lictor can do that over there, but also a Trigon can do that over there, right? A Ghost Kill can do that over there. So if somebody gets your Ghost Kill out the way after they've gotten through Lone Op, they've gotten through Stealth, they've gotten through your 2 blanks. Make it so that it fucking hurts with pinpoint counteroffensive, and it's a Lone Op that has Infiltrate. So, if you infiltrate, I'm not saying that you have to just send it. And maybe this is my Crusher Stampede attitude, right? Because we have a stratagem to auto detonate. So it's just like, yeah, just send it, get back there, and then now just do a bunch of wounds, roll it, have fun. So maybe that's my aspect of that speaking. But unleashing a ghost kill, just rolling that out there with assault, because it already had lone infiltrate, giving it lethal hits, not the worst thing possible. Maybe knock out particularly one unit that you really don't fuck with, and then call it a day, right? Then once something turns to get rid of your ghost kill, if they get rid of your ghost kill, make it so that they regret getting rid of your ghost kill, and they can't leave it there. Can be kind of screened, but you also have fly, so can you really be screened? Like, they can try. I think more ghost kills in Mont'ka might be the answer, which is weird because I'm slowly realizing with Tau that the things that I thought Kalyan was designed for, work better in Mont'ka and vice versa. So that's an interesting interaction. I don't know why they did that to you all, but yeah, I think maybe up the ghost kill numbers in some of those lists. Not to say that you're not doing a great job, but I don't know. I think you can just push the envelope a bit more. Now, to the one I accidentally clicked on, why is Commander Shadowsun in this discussion? Well, also to the infiltrating lone up stealth argument, but I'm coming to realize that you all have a lot of ways to keep your command points up, which is why I don't think I can write off Mont'ka as much anymore. Right? I am now learning that you all have ways to keep 2 command points when you want it. Would that have been evident with Retaliation Cadre? Sure, probably should have been. Was it for me? No, I didn't really think that far. But beyond that, you have Shadow Sun with Command Link Drone Aura. While a friendly Tau Empire unit is within 6 inches of the bearer, each time you select that unit as the target of a stratagem, roll 1d6. On a 5 up, you gain 1 command point. So, Shadow Sun for 100 points, an infiltrating lone op character, has a couple of attacks, but has a pretty good aura. Also gives out an aura of reroll hit rolls of 1, and you are getting lethals in Mont'ka. Yeah, that's that's all right. That's all right. Now to the next one, Farsight, the one who I could have sworn Mont'ka was designed for, but has Deep Strike. Um, Pure Tide's teachings: once per battle round, you can target this model's unit with a stratagem. If it does, -1 to the cost of the CP for the stratagem. Right. This is where we start to go, huh? So if I got 1 command point back and this one only cost me 1 command point, pretty good over here with counter fire defense systems or pulse onslaught. I'm just saying. Now mind you, not infantry, right? Right. Not infantry, so can't do that one. But counter fire defense systems, if you really want, there you go. Then moving on from what Farsight could have, I did just want to point out I'm interested in fire knife battle suits being incorporated more. I see like a splattering of them through the Tau Mont'ka list, but it just seems like an auto slam. Reroll hit rolls of 1, lethals. I understand the missile pods are 712, but hey, uh, what are you going to do? And plasma rifles? I mean, 6 shots at 833, lethal? That could be okay. Ignore mods to the hit roll? Fine. But going past that, ethereals. Now, of course, can't have ethereals and Farsight in the same list. But if you aren't getting your Shadow Sun CP, ethereals. Ethereals. I've seen a couple more people bring ethereals. You should probably bring ethereals, I think. And also, the Kroot Warshaper. Once per battle round, 1 unit from your army with this ability can use it on this unit, target with a stratagem. If it does, reduce the command point cost of that stratagem by 1 command point. And it is a different name than Farsight, so guess what? You can use both in the same turn. So 2 types of units, one attached to battle suits, one attached to probably Farstalkers in this case. Um, Free command point or not costing the command point, guess what? That's 2 stratagems you got to use for free, basically. And with 2 ways of not spending command points, that means that you're probably saving your command points so you could keep using the stratagems that cost 2 command points. So that's a little bit diabolical, into which you're either not using them between War Shapers and Farsight, or getting the command points back with Shadow Sun and Ethereal, or an Ethereal, I should say. Um, Now, I understand that the lists that are the most competitive don't really utilize more than one or two of these at a time, but it is a little bit interesting that you have access to this, especially when Ethereals can go to that strike team I talked about earlier, compared to the always do damage, Breacher team, and Cadre Fireblade. And the Crew Warshaper, I'm vouching for Farstalkers, right? At the start of the battle, select one unit from your opponent's army. Each time a Maul in this unit makes an attack that targets that unit, that attack has lethal hits and precision. And with Pek, Pekra, ranged weapons equipped by the bearer's unit have ignores cover, so that little AP, or no AP, in this case, for a couple of weapons there, will stick, but it's lethal hits and precision. So, you have 12 models of angry chickens attacking a unit with lethal hits, and with the Warshaper doing strats for free, and during the first, second, and third battle rounds, you get assault, and guess what? The Farstalkers are the infiltrating crew. You can make it so that you don't have to worry about that guided unit part. You just designate a target, put them over there, and say, have fun. Now, I should also note, you could also bring a crew trail shaper onto the second unit. That way you can redeploy these two group units, and as long as one of the units is targeted by whatever stratagem you want to use, let's say that you want to use focus fire. There we go. Focus fire 2 Tau Empire units from your army that have not been selected to shoot this phase, and 1 enemy unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a Maul in either of your units makes an attack, it can only target that enemy unit, and only if it's eligible target for the attack, and when resolving that attack, improve the AP by 1. Can't use it on the 4th or 5th battle rounds. Um, 26 models, right? 24, and then another 2. 26 models with lethal hits, precision, ignores cover, bonus AP plus 1, and it's free because of the Warshaper. And you got into position thanks to the Trail Shaper, and you have Assault, and you were infiltrating. That sounds like a pretty upsetty spaghetti time for your opponent. So I'm just saying, I'm surprised that Mont'ka lists haven't looked more different. And like, hey, play what you want to play. I'm not saying that. And if anything, we found out that you Tau players really don't want to use your crew. I mean, man, you really don't want to do that. But I'm just saying, between doing things for free and at every point of the game, free. It's like a fire sale on command points over here, and putting your opponent into tough positions. I think Mont'ka, it could get pretty spooky right now. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.